War of the Sontarans?
Oh, I don't even know what the show's called anymore.
Well, the show's got a different name. It's called Flux now. Yeah, War of the Sontarans.
Yeah, cool. Jeez. I'm so glad that that's the start of this, hopefully.
Yeah, this is all in.
Yeah.
We're back again. It's another week. It's another episode of Doctor Who. It's spoiler cast for
It is.
War of the Sontarans. We know that for sure now. It's called War of the Sontarans, right, Sam? Spoiler cast. There'll be spoilers. It's the second episode. We're not doing spoiler free. You're either watching it or you're not. And I will say, I'm slightly intrigued now. I think this episode was like it's almost there. I think they've almost got their hooks in. I've told Josh that if the next episode's good, he can start watching.
Yeah, good.
I'm like, I don't want you to have to endure this. If it all sucks. But I'm like, this one felt like, again, probably because there was less jumping around and stuff. It was a more coherent story, I think, and it was fun to have a bit of future and past. At the same time, which is always fun when Doctor Who does that. How did you feel? Are you same as last week? A little bit better?
I'm a little bit better. I'm not like all the way there yet. The one thing I kind of thought to myself after this week's episode, and when you take into consideration last week's as well, I feel, and it would be really cool if this was a thing, but I feel like we're watching this series in reverse.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's the first episode was the big finale of what's going to happen. And then it's as it sort of moves on, it's I don't know. I've just got this vibe that it's it's cool. Major things slightly getting less major. And I'm is it a thing where it's maybe it's in reverse? But anyway.
That would, it would make sense for the creepy dude that's we've had an adventure and you don't know what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah, that too. Yeah. Because he keeps on mentioning all these times they've met. And I'm mate, I don't know yet. The only thing that I've been thinking about is that I find it a bit jarring that the kind of overall series arc is so in your face. Because it's kind of the thing that I loved about series 5 with the crack was that it was subtle and then it led to a big payoff in the end. But it was they had a very good medium of putting it in your face every now and then and showing it here and there and showing some of the effects it's got on the series, but it wasn't as involved as this where it's these guys are going into a temple and just killing people for fun.
Yeah.
I was because it's this for me, it's a thing where I'm just I don't know what's happening, so I'm not going to care that much.
Yeah. and like we said last week, so much of the show is about everyone not knowing what's going on. And I was kind of hoping with this being a more simple, the Sontarans are doing the Sontaran stuff, that they'd be more aware, but everyone's still just what's happening? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And then all the way through the episode until the end, which I will just jump to the end, which is...
Yeah, go for it.
Dan removing Sontarans from time and then a dude in the past blowing them up. Now... The Doctor has a problem with the dude blowing them up, but she doesn't have a problem with Dan removing them from time. She has that line where she's this is why I don't want to bother sometimes. But it's well, I don't know what the difference between removing someone from the space-time continuum and blowing them up. It's pretty much the same thing. You're killing them both ways.
Because how is, what was the method that Dan went to doing that?
I don't know.
It just happened?
I don't know. He had his wok. He had his wok. He did something with his wok.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That freaking wok, man. But was that the moment when he crashed their ship into the rest of them?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because could it just be could it be the fact that she doesn't know what he did?
Yeah,
maybe it's a thing where it's why'd you have to crash the ship? It might just be because, and in no way am I saying
that it makes sense.
In no way am I saying be less harsh. We should be as harsh as we can on this show.
Yeah.
But I feel for me, it's a thing where
she didn't.
Maybe it's because she wasn't there in the moment.
Yeah.
And she didn't witness it. It's well, she's not aware of that yet.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But talking about Dan, best part of the series so far. He's so good.
He's I thought Graham was the best thing. I think Dan's gonna trump Graham for me. I think because Graham was a little bit corny, whereas Dan actually feels like a Russell T Davies, Stephen Moffat companion.
Absolutely.
Like he's got such a lovely vibe about him. Yeah. He's really fun. It's like I thought maybe the first episode that might have been it, but he continues, and I'm glad that he has his own like time in this. Yeah. Like, I love that it's just him being himself, because I love Jodie and stuff, but again, there's not much of a character there, whereas he already has so much personality. His family turns up. We haven't had family in a long time.
No, not at all. Yeah. But yeah, like it was really cool because like for Dan, I feel like he's been written so well because you feel like that's a genuine person.
Yes.
Like whereas with like other companions, it's just like, oh, they're just a person along for the ride. But this is like, if you met this guy, you'd expect him to be exactly like this. And I love that like through all the madness, he's just still so calm and like composed. Yeah. I think that's what's really good about him as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's the fact that he's a very like relatable human being in a Doctor Who series. Because like nowadays, the worst of things can happen to us, and we're just making like
we just deal with
a joke. Yeah. Like we'll be sharing memes about it, you know? Yeah, like true. I feel like he's got that very good balance of like he knows to be serious, but he doesn't take it too seriously.
Yeah, totally. Like, and even him paired with the dog guy, it's such a great double act. I love when he turned up in the end.
When the dog turned up, I was like, "Oh my god!"
It felt like Doctor Who again. It felt like returning characters and stuff like that. I think they've got a great dynamic. Like, the dream would be Jodie sticks around for another series, and it's Dan and the dog guy. Like that's the team.
That'd be cool.
Because already, and like we have to talk about it, Yasmin, never interesting, has never been interesting, continues to be a nothing character. And not just a nothing character, she's now Clara. She's now just adopting Clara's what would the Doctor do, like forceful attitude. And in the same vein as Clara, she's gotten herself like killed. Like she's got herself in a really bad situation. And so, I know it's an easy path to take with a companion, but it's worsened by the fact that Yasmin was never on this path. It's just kind of appeared, and it's like now she wants to be the Doctor. It was kind of, I guess, there last season, but I don't even remember last season, so I can't. I can't recollect that.
No one remembers last season. Will it's fine.
Yeah, I just feel like this episode specifically, I was like, they're just doing the Clara thing, which
But like that thing of like you don't care about her. Like it just comes down to the writing, because it's like they haven't, because like again there was that whole thing 2 seasons ago where they were showing like the moments from her past where she's like on the side of the road with the cop. Like what did that ever come to?
Totally.
Nothing. But like the one thing I will point out that I thought was really funny, and I kept it on my phone to mention here today. Because I was on Instagram this morning, and there was a post from Doctor Who, and it was saying, it was just about, will the Doctor next week be able to save Yaz and Vinda? Yep. One, did not know that the guy had a name.
Had a name.
But also, it was like, it occurred to me, I was like, how do they expect us to care about this guy Vinda after 2 episodes when we still don't care about Yaz after 2 seasons?
Totally, yeah.
Like I saw that and I was like,
that's fine.
I mean, okay, cool.
If she has to kill them both to save them, that's fine.
So be it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was a very funny, amusing thing, because I was like, no one cares about this guy.
Yeah. And again, similar to last week, we know they're fine. They're in the trailer for next week.
Oh, do you know what? Like, I actually didn't even watch the trailer for next week just because I was like, just because I was like, I don't care enough to want to know what happens. And it's like, if it saves me knowing a little bit, then sure.
I'll do the same.
Yeah, cool. Like, only because it's like, if, like, as little as it gives us, it's like, if we don't even see it, maybe we'll just enjoy the episode a bit more.
Yeah.
Just like a smidge.
There'll be some
not by
sort
much,
of shock.
But
yeah.
But like, of course, it's that thing where you know they're going to be fine because they're in all the promo for next week. You know? It's like, guys, come on.
I will say, if there's one thing this series has been doing well, is visual effects for the most part. Like,
it's been pretty decent.
Everything with the swarm guy, like how they emerge, and it's kind of like all dusty and like the way he killed them and snapped them and kind of it all, that was sick. And I think the writing's terrible, but the visual effects makes me scared to, and not that I care about Yaz, but the idea that he could do that to her and you would see her fall apart in the way they done it. I was like, that's cool. Like the visual effects are doing a lot of the work for the show, which is cool.
Like it definitely looks sick. And like even like coming down to like the sets, like I love that they're still building like real sets. Like that whole like was it like a temple they were in or something?
The temple on time.
That thing. But yeah, like that all looks great. And like I love the little like floating triangles that were there, just being like, can you repair?
That was proper Doctor Who. That was
cool.
Good and campy. I almost thought they were the voice of K9, but they weren't. I thought it might have been John Leeson.
It definitely sounded like a voice that we've heard before.
Totally, but I couldn't find anything. The Sontarans are in this.
Yes, they are.
And I think that's maybe one of the reasons I really enjoyed this was they felt maybe not a threat, but they felt like how they were in the classic series. They were a little bit in that first David Tennant one, but then they kind of steered into the comedy direction. Whereas this kind of did the right thing, which like the whole point of the Sontarans in the classic series is they turn up at like points in human history and are trying to embed themselves in it. And so the idea that they, and I love the idea that they knew that the flux was coming, and so they set up and were ready, and they were like, sweet, let's get in and take over Russia. Which was like, it was cool. It was annoyingly not an important part of the episode, but again, the idea of the plot, in the same way last week, the idea of the dog people saving humans was really cool. It was like, that's the episode. Just do that. Do an episode about that. Do an episode just about the Sontarans, because that was like, it was cool, the idea that because of the flux, the humans just didn't know of Russia, but they understood what a Sontaran was. It was a cool idea.
Yeah. No, like I thought it was very cool as well. And like I love the moment when like to check that time is correct, she goes to the map and she's like matching up countries, and then she just goes over Russia. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like, I don't know why, but I just thought it was a cool detail. But with like the Sontarans, like I thought they were great. The one that they kept in the med bay, 100% Drax, right?
Like
basically their version of Drax. Yeah, sweet.
Totally.
Yeah, cool. And like he was great. Like I love that, and I love how he's like, you know, like a mad customer at a Woolworths. He's walking out yelling.
I will defeat you on battle in another point. That was fucking great.
It was so good. Yeah. And like I feel like you know that's the aspect of you know those villains that like we love so much. So it was great to sort of, you know, have them back.
Yeah. And like some good funny lines. I love that there was what was the guy? I think his name was Strack, and so. Or it was something, and the doctor's like leaving line. She's like, "Don't come, Strack," or something. Like her like end. So it was like the reason they called him that the whole way through was for her to say a funny line at the end.
That's very good. It's very good.
There's some good comedy lines, and the best line, and I think the entire Chibnall run so far is Dan saying, I think they're a fan of Japanese food. They kept talking about tempura something, and she's like, "Is it temporal?" And he's like, "Oh yeah,
that was like, it was so good. It was
very funny.
Was so good." But like with like in this episode, the one thing I noticed, and like it's nothing on, it's nothing on the actor playing the character, but I find that Jodie as the Doctor. Can't be very intimidating.
No.
And like it's nothing on her. Like it just comes down to like I guess like what she's given as like, you know, lines and stuff. But like when she was standing opposite the Sontaran on like the rocks and she's trying to give like her big like speech, I was just kind of watching it and I'm like, I'm not intimidated. Like, because normally in the past, like when, you know, when they give a big speech, you're kind of sitting there going, oh, hell yeah. Yeah, you tell them.
You tell them.
But this time it was just like, okay.
Yeah, totally. I think an element is the script's rubbish. I think the biggest thing is the music. Like so much of those big action, like driving scenes are the score that's under it. That we were like the World Wins War or whatever from the Pandorica Opens, like stuff like that. That's why those moments are so big. But there's just never a moment of like the music swelling and rising the Doctor up as well. And it's really tricky, and it isn't on Jodie. I think it's the writing.
No, and absolutely.
I feel like there's an element that. and I know that she's been very positive in interviews, it kind of feels like she's checked out a little bit. Like, it kind of feels like she's given up a little bit on the show sometimes. It just kind of feels like she's treading through the script and just dealing with it, which is really unfortunate, because I don't want that. It may have just been, I don't know, it might not be the case, but there's just sometimes where it just doesn't feel like I can't get into the world because it feels like she's not in it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, she's not really wanting to be there, which is odd.
Yeah, no, of course. And like, it's a very like, because it's the sort of thing where it's like, you can't really be excited for this show when the people that are the leads in it aren't even that excited for it. Like, it reminds me of like the past few years whenever you would see a photo or like behind the scenes footage of Tosin Cole, and he's just like that guy checked out before he even got a contract. Like, it's unreal. But yeah, but like, I will say quickly, like, on your point about the music, I totally agree. And like, because the reason why I was very excited for her like era of the Doctor was when we first saw her in the TARDIS and like the ring falls off her finger, and it's playing that like classic theme from like 9 and 10's era. I was like, oh, if they do more of this is going to be great. And then like when we saw the first episode of her era and she falls through the train and like the theme actually swells over Doctor that, Who theme, like that was all great. And then after that, it was just nothing. And it's like, where's that?
There's that music.
Put more of that in there.
Yeah. It's bizarre. I think and hope that, you know, he's imbuing a little bit. The first episode when the Weeping Angels are there, I saw someone analyze that, and there's the like squeaky door sound that always happens with the Weeping Angels. That was there, so at least he's trying to keep elements. But I feel. Epic.
No, and like that's the thing, like with Doctor Who, you need like that epicness, because in a lot of ways, like if you just like in like past series, if you take the music out, it's the music that makes those scenes that we know and love so epic, you know? Totally. But no, like with the Weeping Angel, I feel like that was probably the closest we've gotten since like those first few scenes with Jodie, where it's been like a hint of like the classic music and score, which has been pretty good. Because like especially with the Weeping Angels, I feel like you need to have that like creepy sort of like
set the tone,
that creepy vibe about it.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of Weeping Angels, people have noticed. Just it's budgetary and it's probably COVID related, but in the first episode, the one that's following her is one of the statues from the Doctor Who experience. It's not a costumed person, so it's actually just a statue that they're moving closer and closer. That's why
I find that to be pretty cool, though.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But in that episode, and also in the preview for the series, there's the same, that still image of an angel doing that. It's that JPEG. They've just used it when they don't need to have a statue on set. They've just got a JPEG that they just keep. Like the one in that episode when she's about to get taken. That's a picture from like Time of Angels. Which is a bit rough. Yeah.
Like I totally understand them like just using things from the experience, because like that thing's gone now. Like they might as well just use all the stuff that was in that.
Totally.
But like just using a JPEG, like come on.
It's a bit rough. But yeah, in saying that, I think this episode stepped towards the right direction. I'm with you. Like if it is a backwards through time thing, that would be really cool. I think that would like,
because I don't know what. I can't remember what, like, just, like, put it in my head, but I was just watching it and I was like, are we watching this in reverse?
Well, because,
like,
the interesting thing with the time temple thing that I'm wondering with Weeping Angels related, whether we're getting somewhat of a Weeping Angels story, like, if it is backwards through time, like, they're, like, heavily involved and they're actually, like... The people, they're all kind of like statues, and the thing that like twigged with me was they are only there when you like step on the thing.
I was about to say, there's like, I thought that was great. Yeah, I loved how like our two, you know, main villains that we know nothing about still couldn't stand on there.
Totally.
So they had to get Yaz and the other bloke that we don't care about to stand on it for them. I thought that was very cool. But like it was very funny for me because like as I was watching it, I was under the impression that those like, was it like 6 of them? Or something like that? Yeah. Like all of those people that were standing around like this sort of like circle in the temple, I thought they were just like all holograms.
Yeah, because they
like
kind of
AI or something. Yeah. So when Yaz and the other bloke were on one of those stands and they were like trapped there, I was like, oh wait, are those like
They're real
actual people
people.
too? Then I was like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah,
I was like, it was probably the one part of the episode where I was like, okay, that's a bit dark, but cool.
Yeah,
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, totally. I think that's really cool. I think they're being coy, but I'm sure that's a Gallifrey thing. It's all timey-wimey. It has to be.
It
something
does look
Gallifrey.
very Gallifrey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even like from what they were wearing to like the face makeup and stuff, it just gave a bit of like a Gallifrey vibe,
Totally.
which like cool. It's always cool when like, you know, it does come up, but like, you know, we got it last series for the whole Timeless Child storyline.
Rubbish, yeah.
And it was pretty prominent during Capaldi's last series as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, just give... I know it's back, but give it a rest.
Yeah. I almost wonder if this is going to be a, like, he's going to retcon the retcon. Like, he's going to use this to be like, I'm sorry about the Timeless Child thing, we're fixing it. But yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think Chibnall's just an old school classic fan, and I think he just loves that stuff. So he's probably just going to go hard into that, which, if this works better, might be an interesting bit of lore that he's going to add to the show. So we'll see how it goes. But next week's episode is called Once Upon Time, which is actually a pretty fun, because the planet's called Time. So that's a fun little name.
It is a fun title, yeah.
I'll remember that more than War of the Sontarans or whatever this one's called.
I'll remember that more than anything else.
Just more Dan. Just give us more Dan.
Yeah, just honestly, give him and the dog like a spin-off series.
Show. Yeah.
Let's do that.
We're in. Cool. Well, have you got any other things to say about whatever this thing was?
Absolutely nothing.
I like that these, like last week and this one, it's maybe 30% of the episode, 70% here's what's wrong with the show. That's what these, like, last week it was we can't be interested in the characters. This week was the music sucks. So I'm excited to see what we talk about next week.
I reckon next week there'll be an issue with some of the costumes and maybe like the set dressing itself.
We'll do that, and then we'll get camera work in there and stuff. Yeah, it's good. I think we're good. I
mean, we touched briefly on like the effects.
Yeah, it's true.
Maybe we can hate more on that next week. You know,
bring
who
them
knows?
down. Bring them down. They need it. They need to know it sucks.
Yeah.
If you're enjoying this, let us know in the comments if you have different opinions, because again, I know a lot of people are still loving this show,
of course,
or have come to the show because of this. So it's totally on you. We're just old, negative boys that
basically we got treated too well.
Yes.
And we were spoiled. And now, you know.
And we also know that we've got a great present coming in 2 years. So it's like now we've just got to wait.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
because just quickly, it's a thing where it's like, now that we know that's coming, part of me like for this is like, I don't care, just move along.
Just get through it. Just get through it.
Get going. Yeah. Just get going.
We got Russell. Russell's inbound. But where can people find you, Sam, if they're wanting to follow your adventures?
If you want to follow my adventures, and my artwork, you can follow me at Sam Studio AU on Instagram. I'm sure will put like a link somewhere. I just hate having to like spell out the name every time.
Yep.
Because it's like,
it's just letters.
I'm sure you'll figure it out. But yeah, and then I'll also be at Oz Comic Con Sydney on the 4th and 5th with a booth with all my art. So if you want to come by and tell me how wrong my opinions are about this show, feel free.
Good. And also bring with you any leaked Spider-Man pictures. We love seeing them.
Please don't.
Bad times at the El Real. And if you want more of us, if you're listening to this podcast, hit that follow. And if you want to see more things, if you want to see, because you're listening, you can go to youtube.com/each to their own or twitch.tv/etonline. If you're listening to this before Friday and you want to watch some boys react to some things, we're going to be live. I think it's Saturday, 12 a.m., which is weird for the brain because you would think that would be the end of that. But that's so the time between Friday and Saturday, that 12, that's when we're going to be live. And then about 1 a.m., there'll be some announcements and trailers and stuff for Disney Plus. So if you want to check that stuff out, twitch.tv/etonline. All right. Let's wait and see what next week is. I will just say,
Will, also, if people want to talk to us about this show in a certain platform called Discord, how do they do that?
That's a great point. Patreon.com/each to their own, just $3. We'll get you into our super secret Discord. where you can talk to all the cool people in there. There's
they're very,
me,
very cool.
There's Sam. That's pretty much it. There's some other people, but in terms of cool people.
But we're the ones who aren't cool. So we thought we'd mention our names first just to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Everyone else is cool.
They're way
We're
better.
just kind of we're just kind of there to enjoy people's company, really. Yeah.
Joshy's figures. There's a lot going on there. But if you want to do that and you want to support us, we'd really appreciate it. It allows us to buy things like this microphone stand, which I'm currently using. Thank you.
Very nice.
Yeah. But until the next time we hate a show, I've been Will.
And I've been Sam.
See you later.
Farewell.